forgot I died in a Tesla. Oh my god! Yo everyone, it is an exciting time for SCP-SL. We have 15.0's playable SCP and possibly Surface rework to look forward to. We have Northwood being more vocal than ever with these streams they've been doing, and now we're going to be getting 14.2, the Songs of Ash update tomorrow, alongside the Halloween 2025 event, aka Lights and Frights. This update, with no hyperbole, is the biggest Point X update I think we've seen, at least content-wise. All of Heavy's lighting has been adjusted to be darker and have more colors. We have new and reimagined rooms, and of course, the horror stingers. All this and more coming up. So as this update is releasing with the Halloween event, I'll be giving a quick summary of the most important things that have changed in this year's Halloween event from last year's. Keep in mind that most of this stuff will not be permanent, unlike the 14.2 changes, which we'll get into later. I say most because some of this stuff I don't really see a reason to revert. For example, SCP-3114's Rebalance. Yes, SCP-3114 is coming back this Halloween, and I'm sure many of you will be happy to hear that 3114's strangulation range has been nerfed, and now the ability will only be available for around 12 seconds when bursting out of a disguise. Personally, I think this is a good way of having 3114 still be a threat if you're alone or get properly tricked without making it almost impossible to go against in close quarters. The regular slap also got changed to only grant 125 Hume Shield on kill, not hit, and it now takes 5 hits to kill someone from the previous 7. Some final stats to be changed are there not being any damage reduction for wearing a disguise, which luckily the HP got buffed to compensate, now being at 2000 HP, and the stamina duration got increased from 5 seconds to 8. Oh, also don't tell anyone, but 3114 is in the SCP preferences this year, so if you want to go for being bad to the bone, now's your chance. Another thing that I assume will be permanent are the stars returning. Again, yeah, in case you didn't know, previously the stars were somehow breaking blackouts on Surface, so they got removed again for a bit, but now they're back. Obviously the red in the sky is just for Halloween though, at least I hope so, because otherwise Site-02's containment breach is probably the least of our worries. All of the Halloween special candies have returned. Some of them have gotten changes, but they're fairly small, so I'll let you figure that out for yourself. Consider this my trick and or treat for this year. All I'll say is that it's some good shit. Of course, we have the Halloween reskins of stuff, like SCP-018 being Jackie and the Jailbird being the Demon Core, but we also have most of the roles getting reskinned, even the new human models, which I'm a bit surprised about considering they still haven't managed to get the hands or eyes getting ripped out working, but hey, maybe in 14.2.1.
I mean, are you real, Icey? Are you real? Okay, you're real.
Yeah, I'm real.
Icey, what happened?
We have this cool D-boy skeleton get-up, I assume inspired by Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. We have the mad scientist with his age more fitting that aesthetic now. Unfortunately, there's no sunglasses, however. The security is now undead security. Shocking, I know. The Epsilon 11 are now MU13, or Ghostbusters. You can tell from their proton pack, their red eyes, and this neat little patch. Finally, the Chaos Insurgency has been bloodied, with their chest exposed and rocking the classic glowing visor. Fun little fact is that the Heavy Armor's visor also glows, and has this little handprint smacked on it, which is a nice touch. A little crazy theory I thought of is what if the Facility Guard and the CI models are teases of what their SCP-049-2 counterparts will look like in the future. Obviously the Chaos's visor wouldn't be glowing, and I don't think 049 would stamp the guard with undead, but it just seems like a good deal of effort for temporary skins. I mean, look at these skin blemishes on the guard's face compared to the D-Boy's makeup. And why would the Insurgency's skin be exposed? Maybe for a doctor to touch people? Let me rephrase that. To give people cardiac arrest and do surgery on them? Obviously the animations would be different, and I assume the models would be changed a bit more, but it's something to think about. We can't forget about the SCPs either. We have the Shadow Doctor, his little cod zombie gremlins, the Watcher, the Purple Dog, Blue Guy, and 173 with a sombrero and peanut maracas. Yeah, I don't know why they did this for 1,000 hoodies sold either. The two final noteworthy things are the water has turned red in achromatic abatement, and the usual fog and clutter for Halloween is finally here. With the new lighting and heavy combined with the brightness slider actually working, it looks pretty good, which segues us perfectly into the permanent stuff, the good stuff. The Lights and Frights. Heavy Containment Zone has gotten changed, and pretty drastically. There's been a lot of visual changes, but also some things that affect gameplay. Obviously, the lighting has generally been made darker in the zone and given more color in places, like the blue here in Micro, the green of these exit signs, or the orange of this hallway. It should also be mentioned that all of the checkpoints have had their lighting changed, and Intercom did as well. If you don't like good lighting, then you can crank up the brightness past the middle default of 0 to +10, and it's relatively how it was before. Or alternatively, if you you want to have a moodier experience, you can go to -10. But stuff like this gives way more personality to the rooms, which is complemented by all the new props added around the place, a lot of them having new sounds attached to them like pipes, vents, and magnets. Oh, also there isn't an unsecure chain link fence next to said magnets now. My favorite ambient sound has to be this theme you hear when you're in the HCZ test room. It's this foreboding drone that, combined with the spinning alarm light being cascaded on this scaffolding, gives the dread of realizing that one wrong move and you'll be falling for a while and inevitably die. Or worse. SCP-096's containment is in disrepair after 096 dealt with the guard inside. The light is flickering, the chair is knocked over, and yes, the 096 chair is back, and the door is open ajar. However, trying to open the door fully will only allow you to reach the items inside and not grant safety from the threats lurking about. Another room's changes that affected gameplay a bit is the junk room. Oh, that's junk. That's junk in my junk room. As you can see, there's more decor around the place, but there's also this locker, which I believe will spawn 100% of the time. Keep in mind though that a scientist card will not spawn in here. Maybe we'll get a second handle that makes opening this door first to make sense in 14.2.2. On the bright side, one thing I complained about got noticed, which is the red trim randomly ending when it gets to one of the deep corner rooms. There's now a border to make it end correctly. I would have preferred if it be continued because I like the crimson accent throughout Heavy, but I'll take what I can get. Also, yes, this was directly because of me yapping to Hubert, so I will take credit for making the forklift corner room peak. Sadly, he didn't listen to me about the railing in server room, but the room itself now is pretty peak too. It's darker, it's got these borders that aren't a stretched out glass texture, there's some grating here, and there's new hiding spots to not play Snake in, because if you do, I will find you and I will vaporize you. In SL, of course. The only other things that are of importance besides the new room is you can now jump over this counter in 939's containment chamber, the push doors have been sized correctly, and the props here in Micro have been adjusted to have loot shelves while not letting you trap a poor human, or SCP, behind this SCP pedestal. Okay, let's finally get into the new room, Wayside. Wayside, also known as Disposal System Section 12, is a corner room variant that features a brand new trash bag prop. 13.0 reference? Some cool new visual and audio effects. Oh, and a lava pit that you are not, I repeat, not allowed to dive in. But you can. There is this fence that blocks teleporting as 173 and pouncing as 939, so you can't just cheese the corner. And there's some lore with this graffiti and this note on this plaque. Let's talk about something cool, like Gate A and Gate B getting a complete makeover. That's right, the surface update isn't here yet, but in the meantime, this is a good step up. Hey, wanna see something cursed? There's now 2 elevators that go down into Gate A, and as we walk in, we can see some windows showing off the pit. There's some unbreakable windows up here too, which, fun fact, 173 can teleport up to. Over here we have a reception kind of area locked behind admin level 1. It's a bit barren, so I'm hoping the release version will have like a table and chair here. Maybe a button to open the gate from here as well, but if you're a gamer, you can technically open it from here actually. Moving to Gate B, we have a forklift next to this archway, leading us into this main room. Up on the left, there's a little overlook that only 173 can reach from below. Trust me, I tried with 096 and 939. We can go through this gate to bring us upstairs the normal way, however. There's still only one elevator for Gate B though, and it has this vent thingy that eats your grenade. Also, you can jump over this railing if you need to make a daring escape. Keep in mind that these designs are just temporary until we do get the new surface, but even with that said, I do like them. I think it fits with the rest of Entrance fairly well, using the blocky containment breach type geometry and textures. I'm just curious what the final version of these rooms will look like. Something pretty important added for almost all of the locked doors in the facility, except for the gates, but like I just stated, you can just freely jump past it, is the emergency door release button. This was actually first tested back in June of 2023 during a Patreon early access rebalancing session, or PAIRS. It's finally in game though, and essentially it's a get out of jail free card with the caveat that the door needs to be closed for 1 minute before becoming active, which is signaled by this subtle animation and satisfying click noise. It can be found in the interior of Intercom, 106's left door, the MicroHID room, HCZ's armory, LCZ's armory, and 914's chamber. There's some new spots that certain structures can spawn at. The ones I've noticed are a new generator in achromatic abatement, the generator being moved in server room, the generator in 106's containment just can no longer spawn, a medkit box at the top of nuke room, and the experimental weapon locker no longer spawns in deep corner. Alright, I think it's time we talk about one of the main things this update is marketed for, the Frights. So let's start with the big thing. Horror stingers are back. Every SCP Every SCP now has their own stingers, as well as optional chase themes, which you can adjust the volume of in the audio settings. The stingers will also change depending on how close the encounter is with them. I already showed off all the sounds separated in another video, so I'll just do a quick showcase of how they actually sound in-game.
The one who knocks. I'm going to wring your neck. You numbskull.
Yeah, this one's a real rib tickler, huh? Okay, this one I'm very excited about because I've been advocating for this theme to come back for quite a while now. There's a new last man standing mechanic where if you're the last human alive, you'll start hearing Forget About Your Fears, the song that used to play when you were alone for 2 minutes back in the day. Essentially, it was like the old version of Massive Labyrinth. When this happens, the SCPs can see you through walls every 5 seconds after a 4-second cooldown, visually being similar to SCP-3114...
Motherfucker.
Visually being similar to SCP-1344's effect, but the visibility range is huge, at 100 meters. I really like this implementation, as even though 079 does have the breach scanner, there is those times where it's literally just one guy sitting in a dark corner playing Snake minigame, and there's no 079, so I think it's good for SCP gameplay, and immersive for humans. Sadly, this does inadvertently nerf the gramophone, though.
Yeah, you're the last one alive.
You should jump off.
Pit or
If
something.
I was the last, I would hear the music, but I don't
Jump
hear
off a
anything.
pit or something.
Oh wait, that's true, he beat us.
God damn it.
Oh,
Shit.
he beat us, bro.
Another very cool theme has been added that was actually teased a while back, that being the Dead Man Switch theme. Like with the stingers, I already made a video showing how it sounds, so I'll just play a snippet so you can feel how it'll be in game.
Site recovery failure. Dead man's switch activated. The underground section of this facility will self-destruct in T-minus 90 seconds. Lone-tailed fox backup unit has entered the facility. Substantial threat to safety remains within the facility. Exercise caution.
Along with this, the regular Nuke's audio got adjusted a bit, and with these remastered audios, they have the ability to pause and resume the chase themes so the music doesn't become too overwhelming. One little thing to note is that Cassie has a few new announcements, so I'll play them now.
Attention, all personnel. Detected 2 Chaos Insurgency Forces at Gate A. Lethal force authorized. Emergency detonation sequence resumed. T-minus 90 seconds. Detonation sequence cancelled.
So if you've been keeping track of the teasers for this update, you may know that there's a machete in this update, but let me give you the details. This is SCP-1509. It is an anomalous Indonesian Parang that can be found in an SCP item pedestal and counts towards the SCP item limit in your inventory. When holding it, the user will be granted 25 Hume Shield. Obviously, it's a melee weapon, and it will deal a consistent 50 damage with it swinging around every 0.6 seconds. It's got pretty good range, and two neat little details are it'll start clean, but when you kill someone, it'll become bloodied, as well as having a unique first-person animation for hitting walls. But this is just sounding like a normal weapon besides the Hume Shield, so what gives? Well, whenever there's enough spectators in your game, you may notice that the weapon will become misty. When this is happening, the next person you kill will resurrect a spectator from their body, with maximum of 50 HP and 25 AHP that will not regenerate. You also can't go past the 25 AHP via adrenaline or anti-cola. This spectator will not start with anything and will be allied to your team, either being the civilian or militant counterpart depending on some factors. If the civilian resurrected from 1509 escapes, their stats will go back to normal. Final things to note are there's a 30-second cooldown between reviving people, but the weapon itself is always able to be used, and if a person is revived once through 1509, they're not able to be revived again through it. There's probably some other small things with it, but I'll let you figure that out yourself.
So a little bit of insider knowledge here. I opened up the R-Ray and there's about 10 scientists randomly.
What does that mean?
Right, so do we just agree?
What the fuck? Now we get to truly the scariest part of this update. Balancing. Firstly, the main spawn waves were changed a little bit. The default timer for MTF and Chaos were increased by 30 seconds to 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Also, the cap of people able to spawn was changed to 65% of the server pop from the old 75%. The MTF spawning distribution changed as well to be more like the CIs, so the weakest class, privates, will always spawn. If there's enough people, sergeants will spawn, and then captains will spawn. And yes, I did say that plural. I'll be honest, I'm not too sure how I feel about this change. It just feels weird to me that if even 16 MTF spawn there would be 2 captains, and if 5 people spawn, then there's just no captain present. I guess I'll have to see how it feels in differently sized servers, but more sergeants being able to spawn is definitely nice, because apparently only a max of 3 could spawn at a time before this. Also, mini-waves now have 150 seconds to be earned from the previous 120. The system for healing SCPs upon Dead Man's Switch activation has been tweaked to heal them to 30% of their max HP if they're under that number, and will heal 250 HP even if they're above that number. Another general change to SCPs is the Hume Shield regen speed is now percentage based rather than set values, so the amount of Hume Shield they have doesn't entirely dictate how fast or slow it is. 049, 106, and 939 have had their maximum HS increased, the max being dictated by how low their HP is. As for some specific changes to SCPs, we have 096 and, well, I think this speaks for itself. I'll just list the changes and you can come to your own opinion. 096's face detection hitbox has been raised to only trigger upon viewing the top of his face. The trigger range is now 25 meters in the facility, meaning the chase theme will play before actually seeing his face. He can no longer be triggered at all during charging. The docile sobbing noise is now consistently loud. The delay of getting targets from coming out of rage is now 1 second from the old 5 seconds. The docile movement speed was up to 4.2 meters a second from 3.9. Distress/calming movement speed is increased to 3.9 meters a second from 3.3. The jump height during rage was increased, now allowing you to cross places like HCZ test room and even surfaces bridge. And finally, some nice quality of life stuff like a counter for how many people looked at your face. People hit by a slap will be concussed for 2.5 seconds. And viewing 096's face will make your FOV go out, not in. Next we have 106, which as previously stated has had his maximum hume shield increased. There is also his Hunter's Atlas being a bit cheaper to use per meter, meaning you can teleport a bit farther away. The time to come out of his stock is the same as Atlas now at 1 second, but the submerging time remains the same. Pocket dimension damage now ramps up way faster, and 106 is ever so slightly faster at 4.6 meters a second from 4.5. 049, along with the max hume shield being increased to 700, is also a little faster with his base speed, now being at 4.6 meters a second from 4.4. 079 players with no mics will like this update. Pinging range has been considerably increased to be 60 meters from 55 by default, and generator pings are 90 meters from 65. Pings will no longer use AP as well. Pinging someone with the micro has the correct micro symbol, and 127's map icon got changed a bit. Finally, we have 939, which got some pretty cool changes all around the board. There was multiple tweaks to the vision, generally, and of hearing people. The mimic point's distance got increased to 30 meters from 20. It's okay, I forgot that was a feature too. And environmental mimicry got the coolest stuff, with the cooldown being reduced to only 1.5 seconds, and there being way more sounds like the FRMG shooting, 127 shooting, being detected by 1344, the ball bouncing, and computer locking a door. You can even use 3114's voice if he spawned in. Some other neat changes is the shotguns should sound more natural, gun sounds can't play the suppressed versions, human footstep sounds are adjusted to sound like sprinting, and all the SCP sounds are available even if they're not in the game, except 3114. There's also some smaller stat changes like the max HP being reduced to 2500, the max HS being increased to 800, attack cooldown is 0.72 seconds from 0.8, and the delay for regenerating stamina is 5 seconds instead of 7. To wrap up, there's been some small changes that I'll mention, like the intercom just sounding infinitely better.
I'm so scared. Can we please go back to refracted reality?
No! The collapsed easy hallways light flickering is much easier on the eyes. There's some new gamer setups in the upstairs offices. 914 got some recipe changes, mostly making the micro HID harder to obtain, and also made the COM45 more common for funnies. Anticola now has a 15% chance to spawn in the SCP item pedestals. 173 can now teleport over this wall and entrance. PT00's control room has a guaranteed zone manager keycard now. All the SCPs have the sound for trying to use an ability on cooldown now. Soup was here. The command console is a bit more customizable and cool looking now. There's some new loading screens using these nice renders. And there was some changes to guns, so I'll throw up the stats on screen if you're interested, because frankly, I'm not. I think that should be most of everything in this update. I've most definitely missed out on some very minute things, but like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm pretty sure this is the biggest Point X update to date, and I didn't really have access to a comprehensive changelog while originally writing this. Hopefully you enjoyed regardless though. I'm very excited for this update, as it really does bring a lot of aura to the game that I feel like was lacking for a long time. Hopefully Northwood can keep this up and we don't get another room with 11 overlapping textures in the future. If you want to watch this update in action, then I should be streaming the update shortly after this goes live, so click here. Thank you to currently my only channel member, Otakabi, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day, everyone.